So, Joanne, let me profile you a bit. So, we're gonna be talking about the Laowai experiences with food in China.
Okay.
And I personally know that you are quite a picky eater. So, can you please tell me about your eating habits, like before even coming to China?
Before coming to China, okay. Well, I'd always cook by myself. I'd always never like eat out, 'cause it's too expensive. But because I'm vegetarian, vegan, I don't eat much food in the cafes and restaurants. So I'd usually just like, I would usually just eat like normal food in the morning and then cook food for myself every day. But in China, I haven't had access to kitchens, so I eat out like all the time.
And what was your experience before even coming to China with the Chinese cuisine?
Oh.
Like, did you?
It's so different. Oh my god, because
Did you try it before? Did you know a lot about it?
yeah. No, I didn't know. I tried it before, but I didn't know a lot about it because I thought when you go to Chinese takeaway, like when I'm hungover or something, you get like a sweet and sour like tofu dish, and then you get chips and spring rolls, and, and it's not real Chinese food, and Chinese food is a lot nicer than Chinese takeaway in England, because Chinese takeaway in England is very unhealthy. It has like a lot of salt in, and Chinese food is also quite unhealthy when you get like fried. It's got loads of oil in it, but it's more fresh and it's nicer. And we eat more rice, a lot of rice.
All right.
Before I came to China, I didn't like rice, but now I love it.
All right. So, and how your perception has changed with coming here? So, while you were in England, did you think that the food in China is the same as the Chinese food in England, or it's like what did you realize?
That is different because it's more simple in China. No, there is. Wait, what do you mean?
So, like, you had your own thoughts about Chinese cuisine in
Yeah.
England.
And I liked it because it was unhealthy.
Yes,
and
then
it was like.
And then you came here. So what's the biggest difference you see?
That there are like more interesting dishes in China, like especially vegetarian ones with lots of different vegetables. There are more vegetables in general, and the biggest difference is that everything is eaten with rice. Like sometimes you have noodles like today, but usually it's like eaten with. In the authentic like Chinese cafes and restaurants, it's like you get a bowl of rice and a dish of vegetables and you eat that together. And yes, I forgot what the question was.
Don't worry. So yeah, basically, the Chinese cuisine can be separated into two parts. So the northern part is mainly the noodles.
Noodles, yeah.
And
I
the
spend more
southern
time in the south.
Is rice.
Yeah.
So
I spend more time. Yeah.
What about the spices?
I do actually like. China has also made me eat more spicy food because they often have lao, you know, like that, like spice.
Yes,
with,
the
soy
spicy
sauce.
flavor.
Yeah. So I have that, but I don't like spicy hot pot because it's too spicy. But yeah, I think it's more. They put a lot of like fresh in the dishes. They put a lot of fresh ginger, chili, and garlic, which is like really good. I think they're three really important things to eat. Like all really good for you. So I've definitely started eating more spice. And in England, I wouldn't get spicy Chinese food because I think it would be like really spicy or not very nice. But yeah, and in Chengdu and Chongqing, then they really like the spice, obviously.
I just remember the British spice.
What's the British spice? Just not spicy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never ate spicy food in England.
All right. So, tell me, in which provinces have you been, and like, tell me about the food in the provinces. What you like more, what you dislike. Like, for example, some provinces feature quite a strange variety of I would say, stuff that you can eat.
Yeah.
And some of them feature more freshy and raw vegetables and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, when I first came to China, I was in Beijing, and it was I was in the north, in like Shanxi province, and it was like autumn festival. So do you know mooncakes?
Yes.
I was literally eating them all the time. But then they also eat a lot more noodles, and everything has vinegar in it. In Shanxi province where I went, which is like by Beijing, they have vinegar and everything, which I like vinegar a lot.
And chips with vinegar, obviously.
And then, but not chips with vinegar. It'd be like rice and vegetables with vinegar. And then I moved down Nanjing. It's
Crisps, chips.
Chips. That's American crisps. And then, wait, let me think. Well, where I spent most time in Yangshuo and Guilin, that is famous for dog, which I don't eat. So I didn't like that. Shit, let me think what it's famous for. Like, Guilin rice noodles, which I actually don't like. They had these Guilin, they were made out of snails. They had noodles that were made out of snails.
Really?
Yeah, snail noodles.
Alright, I will have to check that.
Yeah. It's true. But yeah, that wasn't very nice, obviously. And then I can't remember where else. I can't remember any other special, like, I don't really take that. I eat quite similar things. I always just go to the restaurant and buy rice and vegetables.
Yeah, I see.
I can't remember anything. But it is definitely true that in the north they eat. Oh, in the north also they had, do you know what millet soup is? Millet soup. Millet is like a grain, like rice.
I think it's like quinoa.
Well, I don't, so tell me about it.
So it's like in Beijing, and then they have it with every meal they'd have like a sort of bowl on the side, like a soup. And it's just like watery with like little bits of millet in. And you just have it with every meal to like refresh. And that's why I started my journey. So I was like, yes, fucking hell, I love this food. Then when I moved down south in China, like they stopped serving it at restaurants, because usually it's like free, like unlimited at restaurants. And I was really sad because they moved that away. And also like the different like fruits. If you talk about fruits, like
we talk about everything that comes to your mouth.
Okay, yeah. So in the south, I guess it's more tropical or whatever, so definitely more like the dragon fruits and stuff, and like loads of oranges, but I'm not sure if that happens in the north as well, maybe I just didn't see. But in Yangshuo and Guilin there's loads of little oranges that you eat the skin.
You mean tangerines?
No, well, they're not oranges, so they're about that big, and then you eat the skin.
Yeah, now I remember, yeah.
And I was
they're
really,
like berries.
No, they're kind of like oranges.
No, I mean the sizes.
Yeah, they're quite small, yeah. Okay, oranges is the wrong word. They are nice.
Don't worry.
Tangerines?
Citruses.
Tangerines or kumquats, I think.
Yeah, maybe kumquat.
Yeah, maybe.
In Russian we have the word kumquat, which is like these little tiny tangerine-looking things
here.
that
in
you
English, it's the
eat
same.
with the skin
Kumquat,
on it.
Yeah, it was good.
Without peeling it up.
So when I was actually teaching English when I first got given one, and this kid gave me this little thing like an orange, and I started peeling it, and they were like, no. That was really embarrassing because like the whole Chinese class laughed at me peeling a kumquat.
Right. So most of the time, I'm not talking about the whole of China, but from my experience of talking and dealing with foreigners in Shanghai, basically they can be split into two categories.
Bad English, he's got
Those who generally love, like they have fallen in love with Chinese food and they eat it all the time, and those who are quite unfamiliar with it, and it's very unusual to them because usually, I mean, not all of the places, but a lot of the places use taste enhancer, which looks like salt, but it makes everything super, not
MSG. That's the chemical abbreviation of this thing.
Yeah. So everything becomes like I don't know, like you're eating chips all the time. Super in taste. And like the second group they usually prefer to eat European food or Western food because they cannot deal with the Chinese cuisine because it's way too much. They want something simpler, something back to the roots.
Well, I definitely agree actually about the two sets of people. I'm definitely the one that loves Chinese food because when I was at home in England, because the main thing I eat is like a carbohydrate like rice or like potato or something with vegetables and tofu to get protein. It's kind of abnormal to me. Wait, what were you just saying about? Oh my god. MSG, and so I'm kind of used to it. But then I can tell the difference when MSG is added in. So it does make something more like, as you say, like eating chips.
Super tasty.
Basically amazing.
Like if you have eaten something, you will have the taste of a food after for 20 minutes afterwards.
Oh, lovely. But there was a whole thing in England that MSG was like really unhealthy. Like, oh my god, no one should eat it. You shouldn't get Chinese takeaways. I mean, you shouldn't because Chinese takeaways are really unhealthy anyway. But everyone was like, what the fuck? Like, why stop adding chemicals? But literally in China, there's a bowl of MSG by the food, and they put it in to make it taste nice, and then like they put a bit more in if it needs to taste nicer. And then I actually haven't watched it. But apparently, there's this like documentary or like a video that was circling around Facebook, like social media, that's saying that MSG isn't actually bad for you. It's just like a myth. Like it's bad for you, like salt is bad for you. Obviously, you're not supposed to have that much. MSG is similar in that way. Like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, they're similar.
Yeah. But in England it was like MSG, oh my god, but here it's so different. And some of my friends that have come here have been like, oh my god, it's so bad. They always add it into their food. But I think it's okay, hopefully.
Alright, and also, one thing is, don't you get bored with the Chinese food? Because the taste is so rich, so I would say, robust.
No, right, so you were talking about the two different groups of people, and I think he's one and I'm the other. Because you say you like eating like Western food mostly. Like, but I like, whilst I'm in China, I like indulging myself in the Chinese food because it's just really tasty. Like, it's only flavoured. Oh yeah, so there's a saying that Western people, when they make food, they need a lot of things to make it a little flavour. The Chinese people can make a lot of flavour out of a little ingredients. That was a really bad way to put the saying, but it's like Chinese people literally just use soy sauce, MSG, salt, and maybe some vinegar, and garlic, chili, ginger, like really simple things. But the amount of dishes they can make is crazy. Like you can get a potato, like shredded potato, then you can get like mushrooms, and then like meat or whatever, and it all tastes different somehow. But then in England we have access to so much like different flavours and stuff, but usually the food we eat is plainer, like typically like, you know, like fish and chips or something. If we're going to be really typical about it. But I think that's like a really amazing thing because it's not much, the ingredients are much, they're so different. So no, what?
Your example with fish and chips reminded me of the Scottish episode Run Tour where they were preparing the Scottish dishes and they would deep fry everything, like spaghetti, deep fried spaghetti, deep fried bananas, deep fried cakes. Huh?
Mars bars?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried that?
No.
I never tried that. I actually want to.
I actually like deep fried food, even though it's unhealthy.
Yeah,
for me, somehow it feels like it's stable and there's no surprise there.
Yeah, I literally love deep fried food.
You always know that you will regret it.
Yeah, you always know that you're going to feel very oily afterwards and feel disgusting.
Yeah. Right, so.
They do use a lot of oil in China as well.
Oh yeah.
But I don't really understand because I have ate like so much oil. Like in England, if I was making a stir fry for myself, I'd put like a little bit of oil in and I'd be like, shit, like, oh, that's quite unhealthy or whatever.
No.
But then you come to China and you eat like that plate of noodles we just had so much oil in it. But I have been here for like 6 months and I haven't like put on that much weight.
Well, you were traveling.
yeah, but I was still eating like.
Oil
Can you see this is the oil. Oh, nearly dripped on my phone. So here's some oil, some roll, and some yen, which is yeah, it's good.
That's actually a very valid point about the ingredients and how the Chinese managed to make a lot of different dishes using.
So basically, we're making a podcast.
Limited source discussion, yeah. So they use less ingredients, but they make all kinds of dishes and foods. But for me, that's the thing. It's a matter of personal preference. So that's why I keep eating Western food here, because I'm the kind of person that prefers less choice, but to have less choice, but in turn to gain stability. It's like I want to know what's there in this food. I don't want to take my chances. Like I would much prefer a restaurant with 5 to 10 dishes. Of which all 5 to 10 would be okay for me to eat. Whereas in China, I go and I see the menu with 20 to 30 dishes, and I just keep looking for something like we just had here, and I keep looking for something that I can get out of those 30 dishes.
But you know what it actually is.
That I know what actually is.
Yeah. That's really true. Yeah. I think it is definitely safer to be a vegetarian in that case. Well, I hope, but you're not going to hopefully not get served like chicken's leg or something, as you would say.
Right. Yeah, but you can be served something exquisitely hot potty. Like it.
Well, like spicy.
It would be so spicy that you wouldn't be able to breathe.
No, but as a foreigner, as a Laowai, they would usually look at you and be like, "Do you want it spicy or not spicy?" And I just say not spicy.
And then it will be still spicy sometimes.
Yeah, in some cases, like because there are in Chinese language there are different words for different grades of spiciness, if you can say so. So they have Wei La, which is like moderately spicy. They have La, just generally spicy. Yeah. And there is, I forgot the word for like very spicy.
Oh, there's another one. Oh.
There's another one. And then there is one which is like Bula, not spicy at all.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you say not spicy, they do not actually believe you. They think, oh, maybe you mean I don't want very spicy. And they give you the first.
Yeah, like the food has to be spicy.
It has to be at least a little spicy.
Well,
If
I'm honest, I literally don't agree because that food there we had wasn't spicy at all. I think there's a lot. I really am.
No. It really depends on the restaurant and the cuisine. I mean, if you go to a restaurant that's more like Sichuan food, there I think that this would be this could have happened where you could have said like, please don't make it spicy, and they would make it the least spicy they could, but still spicy.
Yeah, but honestly, every day if you eat out, have you ever been like not be able to eat a dish because it's too spicy? Have you been like, I can't eat that? Spicy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, multiple times actually. I've ordered. Once ordered.
It never happened to me.
I've ordered like a bowl of noodles, and then the whole it was like tang mian, so it was like noodle soup.
Yeah.
And the actual soup itself was way too spicy. So like I took a spoonful of that soup and ended up just leaving the whole bowl behind and just. Going to a different restaurant because I just couldn't even begin to eat it.
Yeah, well, it's the same. I don't know if this is interesting for your podcast or interview, but like the same we had then because I don't eat meat, and then I say I don't eat meat, and they're like eat the Indian roll, and I'm like no, I don't eat meat. Like I don't eat any meat, and this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, often with me and my friends have this joke because we always get baozi, as you know, we love baozi. And we always say like, Thai baozi, like to have vegetable baozi, and they're like yes. And then you get it, and then you walk away, and you open it, and you look in the baozi, and it's got vegetables and Indian roll, and you're like, well, it's not vegetable baozi, is it? It's meat baozi. So you always have to ask, because I guess it's a different culture sort of thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's almost. It's very close. It's actually very close to what we just discussed with the level of spiciness. Like, a little spicy in their eyes sometimes is the same as not spicy.
Exactly.
Same with meat. When they say I want it to be without meat, they say, well, it's almost without meat. There's a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I would say it's got to do with the perception and the setting. So, like. The situation with food in China was quite poor, and for people in China, it's quite good to get some hands on decent meat. So it would be stupid not to eat that. But from our perspective, people stop eating meat because of the ethical issues
Yeah.
or health concerns.
Exactly. Well,
So they don't understand because like 30 years ago there was a great famine during the Cultural Revolution,
Yeah.
and like millions of people died. So for them, it would be stupid to not eat
Say
meat.
no. I know exactly. This is like what.
So that's
how big
because that's
this is
wasting
about.
the opportunity to eat meat while you can't eat it. So
Yeah,
therefore,
yeah.
it's deeply ingrained in their culture, I think, still.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Which I totally
I would
understand
say
that.
we have the same thing in Russia.
Yeah. Well, it's like different levels of development, I guess.
I mean, not that
feel-
much, but
yeah.
still, people
But I
prefer
understand
meat.
that I think I sometimes sound like a bit of a twat when I'm like, I don't eat meat or egg or anything. And they're like, why? Like, it's food. You need food to literally survive. It's more of a survival thing. Whereas for me, I'm lucky enough to be able to be like that sort of thing and like buy like stuff that I can keep me going. But now in China, it is a level of development where it is possible to just
Yeah,
not eat
basically
meat.
the Chinese food culture is mainly vegetarian.
Yeah. Actually, it's like, so I've stayed with quite a few like Chinese families, and it's like they find it like they think they're offending me when I don't eat the meat because it's considered really like gracious, that's not the right word, to give it foreign meat and be like, here, like, this is good meat, like, eat it, we'll make you like happy and healthy. And when I say no, they like think that that's like offending them and offending myself because I am not receiving their gift of meat, sort of thing. And I'm like, it's not. I'm happier eating vegetables, sort of thing. You're giving me more of a gift of eating vegetables, not me. But they can't understand that sort of thing. And usually that's the elderly people, which obviously would have been around the Cultural Revolution. So it makes sense, like.
Absolutely.
But sometimes I do feel bad saying like,